map 1, but really fell off on the T side of Overpass against a Sprout who seems to be going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, there was an Ancient play the last day. It was actually the pick of Sprout that time around, so clearly it is a map that they are comfortable on in general if they are willing to pick it at points. And I would imagine that they've gone ahead and had a look over and made some adaptations since that last day as well. So I'm expecting more out of Sprout than the previous go around. And as you said, with it also now being coming off the back of a map where Sprout just took a 16-14 victory, it really is a game here that could end either way. So I'm excited to get into it. I'm expecting another close map, whichever way it goes. And again, I guess we haven't really stressed this point too much. This is an elimination match, so the loser here is going to be finished with their journey. They will not be heading to Melbourne. Which, for both teams, is going to be a big disappointment, considering you have Jacob over on Apeks, and then you have Azar on Sprout.
Yeah, both looking to play arguably a home event. I hadn't even thought that one all the way through. It's actually Sprout who win the knife as well, which could be quite important. Gives them the opportunity to maintain that momentum. It was a very scrappy end to Overpass, but it was Sprout who came out on top more often than not. So keeping that momentum early on, potentially going for maybe a CT side start to try and build on what you had on Overpass could be a smart call. Because it does feel like this one is now going to go down to small margins, right? It's going to be the individuals that show up here on map 3 and who goes a little bit quiet, because that's arguably what won the first two.
Having a look at how they all performed at Ancient the last day, I guess, could give us a bit of an idea as to what to expect. Sticko played really well, and he's been very quiet in this series so far. Obviously, there's the difference with Knock being in there instead of Berserk as well, but Knock was actually kind of quiet in that game, so if he can step up, that definitely could be an extra push even, perhaps, for Apeks. Here we go. We are... why did I have to say that? If I didn't say here we go, we probably would have been live now.
It's just the way things are, man. We've lost a player as well, so we're going to... You had to do it. You had to do it. You heard me. You heard me in the break being like, oh, I'm tired, I want to go to bed, I've got work tomorrow. And you're like, right, what I'll do is I'll jinx it right at the start of map 3. Keep us busy for like 15 minutes while they fix that tech.
I actually jinxed it earlier when I heard you complaining, because, you know, obviously the 90-second Go TV, so I had to preempt it. I just knew it was coming. So. Fortunate, but at least it's right at the start of the game. It's better than it breaking the action, which is always really annoying.
Yeah, which is always really rough. Hopefully, it's Azza who's gone, so hopefully we'll get some indication of what's gone on there sometime sooner rather than later. Get an idea of whether he's coming back or when he'll be coming back.
If we're lucky, just a quick game crash, but that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, it feels like, wow, it doesn't happen too often at the moment. You know what's going to happen. They're going to push the Source 2 update and everything is going to set on fire.
Probably.
And then everyone who, like, the poor children who have to cast the games coming on, like, straight after Source 2, and it's just like everything's on fire, despite it inevitably being a completely different game. They've somehow still broken the main game as well, and like Molotovs bug out and fly through the sky backwards or something. You just know it's going to break.
Well, supposedly they've been doing a good bit of testing with players, right?
Yeah, but they did that with CSGO as well, and then everyone admits that it was broken as anything on release, right?
Didn't most of the pros not like it though initially?
Yeah, well, there's that famous Zonic tweet.
It's not as big of a change this time either, right? It's going to be the same game. Teams will already know how to play it, and players will. You get me? You'll be testing things you were doing before and seeing if they work the same. So it might be a little bit easier to kind of iron out some of the kinks.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We've all got high hopes for Source 2. I personally reckon it's coming out tonight. Someone clip that, and then when it comes out tonight, call me the Messiah or something for predicting it.
I have no expectations. That's the best way to go into it.
I've been hyping myself up for Source 2. Like since the moment Richard Lewis was like, "Yep, it's coming." I was like, right, full hype mode, full send. No fear. It's going to be great. Inevitably, it'll be rubbish and broken, and it'll take ages to fix. Well, apparently Kicksan's playing for 2 teams simultaneously. That's mighty
is he
impressive,
back?
isn't it?
He must be, otherwise it wouldn't have put a 5th player in, right? Oh, okay, never mind.
No.
It's just I think it's just the HUD being weird about which player is missing.
Yeah, it feels like it. We've got a nice undefined up at top CT, which normally means it got confused because somebody went away. Can we get a quick hub refresh? Because it looks like this game's going live. So it does look like we've got a game on our hands, and we've still got a 5v4 according to the HUD. So we're just going to freestyle this one. Kixan doesn't play for Sprout. He does play for Apeks, and Azza doesn't exist and is apparently a figment of our imagination, but that's fine. As we get into the pistol, Apeks, there we go. The lovely production people have fixed the issue other than the big floating undefined in middle, but that is what it is. And early B lane control is taken by the T side, who look like they want to pop this in towards that B site. Stare is on the shoulder peak, just trying to get information. Spots out a couple, will fall back pretty much immediately. But Apeks have got a lot of util to pop this one now. They've got Molotovs, flashes, a smoke. They've got a full execute planned in the back pocket here.
Yeah, and while there is 3 players immediately around the site, there's also a 4th who's going to be here very quickly, and it's just Stare who does all of the work. The dual Berettas eventually have a chance to chime in, but even then, Stare steals away one of those kills for himself as well, with a massive 4K to start things off for Sprout. As I had said when we were coming into this series, Sprout are on a 10 best-of-3 loss streak, so this is their chance to finally put an end to that.
The molly missed, Dean. They had a molly for Cubby to flush Launex out, and Stiko whiffed it. It dropped the wrong side. It didn't molly him out. That gave Stare free reign because they had to go and clear Launex. Oh, that's tough. Small differences, but it's what made up those last few.
Up the ramp anyway.
Yeah, it's what made up those last few rounds for Apeks. Those small mistakes, right? We saw them coming in, creeping into their game, and being punished by Sprout, and it's got them a pistol here. Just the Glocks out for Apeks. Of course, without a bomb plant, really can't ask for anything more than that. So they're going to go for a little bit of a wander, see if maybe they can find a couple of picks, take something away from the CT side. But realistically, this is going to be a slaughter.
Back towards A main. Only Glocks, though. I mean, it's not the ideal place to be. Long-range fights as well, since Siphon is keeping his distance, although with a FAMAS, it's maybe not the best weapon. We'll see how this works out for him. Instantly dinked, it's always dangerous. Forced to concede the fight and let the MP9 handle it instead, and honestly, it went fairly well, all things considered, right there with the heavy commitment. But damage is done. Considering, again, it was all Glocks for Apeks, they will not be too upset about how that round played out. Got it over with relatively quick, got the couple kills, and now they can start worrying about this gun round.
Yeah, they took a FAMAS out of the equation as well. That's not a bad net gain, right? 1 MP9 down, 1 FAMAS down, and you'd take that. Not a bad look at all. As you said, now is the opportunity. The rifles are out. Time to see what you're made of. 5 AKs, a good amount of utility brought up into this one as well. The opening exchange is relatively passive. Control going to be fought in towards the Jaguar as JL. Molotov's in tow, manages to take that portion of map control away. There is going to be a counterplay though. The flash in, a little bit wiggity on the timings, and Berserk and JL able to combine well to punish it. An advantage found off the back of that. With 2 players in towards mid, this starts to get very awkward now for the CT side. They should know that at most there's 1 over on A, but as Zello picks off Berserk, Stiko has managed to catch his timing. He's all the way out to big box. And Zello has absolutely no idea. It's a free kill out on the A site, and he's hoping Stiko just to draw the rotations, draw the timings, because the rest of the team, and in fact the bomb, is making its way over towards B. Launex has dropped. He won't be spotted, but he will concede a free plant, and Stiko, he has mind-gamed this to the nth degree. The flash goes in to convince them even more. There's a flank coming in from Launex, but Stiko is half aware of it. Will get caught as the bomb goes down. 2v2. It's going to be all on these afterplants, and it's a rough old angle to try and clear out for Jacob. If he tucks himself into that long area, it is a tough clearance. 2 players looking to group their way through CT. Jacob spots them on the jump. Couple of smokes and a flashbang for this CT side to maybe get into things here. They've got a kit available as well. Jacob will play for kicks and he will try and buy time for his teammates. Zyphon spotted out towards long, dealt with. The dink won't be enough, and now Apeks has got to try and clear 2 players simultaneously. Kixon just showing face, making it awkward, making it tough, buying more time. The kit's gone down on Zyphon's corpse, and that'll be it. Apeks finally register on the board. Their T side was so ragged around the edges, over on overpass. But this time they get it going early on. X will take down Kixon to make it a little more expensive at the death, but that CT economy is already buckling.
Surprising as well that the T side was where they struggled so much on overpass to have an amazing T side back on Mirage. It was the 10 rounds again, if I remember correctly. The buy for Apeks, considering they lost all 5 players, isn't too bad. The utility though could be a lot better, and Sprout also putting together what investment they can, are a little bit more limited on the firepower front. 1 AK save true, an M4 for Azure, and well, a couple of pistols and an MP9. We'll see exactly what the plan is. Pretty standard for the moment in terms of the setup for the CT side. On the other hand, Apeks are going straight towards this A split with 2 players committed towards it on the CT side. I was going to say there is definitely some hope. The 5-7 up close done a decent job even taking the 1. Especially with the M4 still on the bomb side. Unfortunately, it's elsewhere that they're just losing everyone being picked apart. Zello all alone. Unfortunately, the smoke just ruins his vision as he tried to come through and force the 1-on-1. Gave time for Jacob to come through and help as well. A second round for Apeks. This time it's a little bit easier as well. And now they'll be up against the full eco and should be able to get a nice little lead going on here in the early stages.
Well recovered that from Kixan. The kills from the 5-7, and Zello could have got awkward if not for the stripping away of the rotations from that T-side player. Posted up in towards red. Able to get a lot of the heavy lifting done for his team. And interestingly, this was meant to be the eco, Deanie Boy, but they forced it up. Didn't have the money. They've gone for the force. Deagles, 5-7s, 1 MP9. All they can bring to this party. Hoping maybe to catch Apeks a little off guard.
Yeah, I mean, with the damage that was done, only 2 surviving in the previous round, 0 in the round before that, you can understand it from that perspective, but it's a very risky investment if it fails. High risk, high reward. We'll see what way it goes. Heavy presence on the B-bomb site, but they're playing it pretty passively, so with utility and play with smokes, if Apeks are going to execute forward onto this bomb site, they should be able to pretty much lock them out of the bomb site. So we'll see what the play is. Taking their time though, despite showing quite a bit of presence and actually sending the bomb back alongside most of the players in towards mid. The only player around A currently is pushed all the way forward in main.
Jacob gets the freebie as a result, and from here it should be a free A bomb site. As you said, 3 players deep CT on B. Again, the smoke to cut the rotations, and Azza the only player in any kind of position to contest this. Jacob waits for the flash through the smoke. Should have multiple freebies. Instead goes down. Gift wraps an AK. Could be a choice reward, you'd have to imagine. X surely has to look to save. He wants to give it a go though, and Stare is there for the trade. 2-on-2. An AK recoverable, but Kixan with the perfect timing bails his teammates out. Azza has bided all this time in towards long, but without a kit, that bomb already so far gone. You have to wonder if he's left it too late to show his hand, and indeed he has. As much as he gets a kill and the damage is good, he gets an M4 to save across. It's still going to be round 3 for Apeks. And you got to remember, this isn't an eco they found the damage with. This is a total force buy. So even with the loss bonus, they're still not looking too great.
No, it's surely got to be the eco this time around. Even with the M4 being saved over, they can invest a small bit behind us, so the continued damage will certainly have the opportunity to keep on building up. I don't expect it to be an easy round for Apeks. There is the chance for some losses still, but most likely anyway, they should be taking a 4-2 lead for themselves here on this T side already. It will be a pretty solid start, and one that they needed after letting that previous map slip 16-14 as well. But that would be a tough thing to turn around from. Stare not landing with the deagle, unfortunately. Mollied and naded out of position, and well, really fortunate honestly to still be alive at this point. He can keep the numbers at least in play.
Yeah, the problem is all they need to do on the T side is sniff out that M4, work out where it is, and then they can play the other site. Well, he has rotated it, Azza, over towards this B site. trying to give it the best possible chance to shine. Bomb, immediately upon hearing that M4 spam, has looked to back out and work its way back towards B, as it's just going to be JL left to try and sell this one, to try and keep the rotations honest. And currently Zello is solo on A long with a USP. So you can't imagine that he's going to get too much done here on timing. You can see already Jacob has posted himself to cut the rotates. Had a little bit of a dire time doing that last time out, but surely up against just the default pistol should have slightly more fun, or not. Takes the dink down to 35. Luckily he's got support though. And the support goes down. Azza's M4 finds Kicksand, and this gets really ugly really quickly. Stare finds one more, and almost this gets impossible. JL lets the AK pass into Donut, and as Berserk finds one, he needs to bail his teammates out. JL very nearly lets that one slide, but gets away with it. Bomb goes down, and in amongst the chaos, the Deagle spam won't connect for any more, and Stare will finally consign himself to saving that AK. But again, it's a little scrappy from Apeks, right, Dean? It's those tiny signs that we saw sneaking into Overpass that Sprout managed to start pulling at like loose threads on an old jumper, and then they just unraveled the whole damn thing.
Yeah, but this time, are they going to actually be able to get a hold of the thread is the question, because if they don't start eventually putting some more rounds on the board, the economy will inevitably build up somewhat for Apeks. It's not going to get there yet again with the amount of damage that's being done. They're hanging on with an extra kill even. At least the AK is carried forward, and again, with how little they had in this round, that is not a bad result at all. They'll be fully invested now and could still turn this into an 11-4 half, potentially, as you said, if they can unravel the T side here of Apeks that clearly has had its issues. The tactical timeout from Apeks, thinking, yeah, we probably shouldn't have lost as much as we did right there. Let's have a little bit of a chat before we go back into the gun round and see what sort of a change we can bring. Is there anything we can throw at them, catch them off guard, and just make sure we clinch this very important round?
It's the sort of round that can make or break a half, so it's understandable. Opportunity just to steady the ship, work out how exactly you want to play this one through, what the toys are that you want to deploy. Almost sandbox it in spawn for a little bit before you take it out for a test drive and see how it flies. Orcs out for Berserk. It's a heavy investment almost across the board for Apeks. They've not built that economy whatsoever. Every round has been expensive. Every round has had sacrifice. As a result, the money not really there. Heavy-handed mid-play to start things off from the CT side. Zello tucks himself into the cubby. Support from Donut. Two players, in fact, supporting from Donut now. As Jacob is left to fend for himself in a world of suffering. Zello spotted, but he's got to be careful, Jacob. There's bodies all over the shop in towards mid. He gets damaged, but no kills. Azza goes down low, but he gets the better of his old teammate, and Zyphon chimes in with one more. A big second pick onto JL, and it has decimated any hope of mid-control that Apeks had. Sticko walks in to try and maybe pick up the pieces, but this one has gone from bad to worse in the opening 45 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, the only positive is the damage done on towards two of the players at the very least, but you can see Sprout have just decided to turtle in. They've gotten themselves a solid advantage. They're just retreating back and playing things passively at this point. They'll try and wither away at the remaining Apeks players, who are at this point starting to favour things back over towards B. They've got a bit of utility. They have the smokes and mollies that could go down. They could potentially still move in and at least get this bomb planted and set up for the after plant.
Yeah, the problem is there's already a heavy rotation, and the CT utility is good as well. Berserk's got to make his way up the ramp with this bomb. And there's multiple bodies into the bomb to try and prevent that from ever happening. Kicksand doing what he can. We'll find two. That will open up a plant, and as Kicksand finds a third, he's opened up an after plant. 2v2, make it one as Berserk catches the timing on Zyphon, and Azza brought down low in that opening exchange has got it all to do. Lightning fast for one. Surely doesn't expect that close, or does he? The no-scope from Azza. The BM to follow. Sprout somehow rescue that one from the ashes. And Azza is back, baby.
Well, damn. That's one way to put it together. Clinching it with a no-scope. bringing a third round over towards Sprout and, well, destroying Apeks pretty much with that victory. The economy not quite there, although considering only one player survived with the op, they know it's going to be expensive for the repurchase, dropping all the rifles and such over. They could consider a force buy, and yeah, I think that is going to be the case in the end. They've got a few rifles. Jacob, if he's willing to sacrifice and go with no nades, does also get an AK, so there we go. But it's also kind of risky. It doesn't pay off. Sprout will likely find the lead for themselves. Kixan very aggressive out to that molly on mid. Nearly had the drop on Zyphon if not for that flash.
So nearly, but here's those small margins that have consistently been the undoing of Apeks. Jacob trying to turn the tide, takes a brawl and wins his. Berserk finds another. Eagle up against AWP, and Berserk has come out on top there. Spots out Stare as well, as he's found the man advantage now for his team. There is the utility available to execute off the back of this. The timing will likely be everything. Stare wants to take the fight to him, knowing that Berserk is struggling with firepower. Wants to take this lane control, but Berserk is up for the task. A clean one ball through the eyes. And this one's fallen apart for Sprout. This has been a brawl start to finish, and long may it continue. As for Zyphon and Azza, they're talking about picking up the pieces of a 2v4. Smoke out short, gives a little bit of time, half an angle, but still not on it just yet. He waits for his ramp players, and Berserk again! Give him a deagle and he shall deliver 3. Crisp 1 deags over towards that B site. The X is on the minimap, a path of destruction the youngster has left in his wake. Apeks have 5, and that is a round that Sprout should not be losing. You have 1 from Apeks, it's a 1v2. Maybe Azza hits the shot of a lifetime, but Berserk to hit 3 1-deags and just carve open that B site shouldn't feel acceptable. Jacob finishes the job. Apeks have 5, and they are right back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Berserk has been doing an incredible job coming in as a sub. Went a bit quieter on Overpass, but even then still had his moments and was vital to their success back on Mirage. So it looks like he could be that difference maker again here on Ancient. The economy broken again for Sprout, leaving them with a few pistols most likely. 2,900 at least will give them a solid enough buy in this next round, but it means they can't afford to spend too much here and now, which could, for the first time in this series, actually give Apeks a chance to build up some money. I had eluded them earlier on, even when they did have success. 3 deagles. Something there for Sprout. Perhaps some inspiration from Berserk in the previous round as well. Like, wow, I can do that too, and then they'll all just get wrecked. That's how it always goes for me anyway.
Gonna push the issue towards Jaguar, hoping that perhaps a little bit of chaos from these pistols can open something up. A dink. That should be an AK to be stolen away. JL, oh my goodness, how is he alive even this long? Zyphon low will be found by Kixan, and at this point, Kixan should trade that MAC-10 up, and from there, make sure they don't lose anything of too much importance in this round. There's a flank coming in all the while, but X has managed to slip the net down the ramp. Now he's been spotted, tapped away by Jacob, and Azza is all the way over on A. Nothing he can really say or do about this one. So a nice net gain for Apeks, a relatively smooth sailing round. As long as they can deal with this last USP, 4 players kept alive. Kixan has indeed upgraded to that AK, so the only weapon that goes down to MAC-10, and that's a really nice result for Apeks, who've been struggling to deal with those kind of half-buy rounds for a long time now.
Yeah, and have gone from pretty much no economy in the reserve to actually a pretty solid amount on most players. So that gives Apeks a bit of breathing room for if things do go south again. Well, of course, they'll be looking to see if they can continue on with this momentum that they've had the chance to build on the T side. Molly down on mid. No one this time actually playing around this area. Instead, it's a very fast A play. Not something you see too often here on Ancient. Zyphon up close. Shows us why initially with a decent open, and unfortunately Stare only good for the 1 as well, means that things are not looking too bright for the CT side. I was going to say even the 3-on-3 retake would have been awkward as the smokes went down, but instead it's a 3-on-2. Make that 3-on-1. Berserk shuts down Lau and X, and it's all onto Zello with an op that he does not want to throw away, so he's got to be considering the save, and he's being flanked. potentially here later on by Jacob. It's a slow one.
Yeah,
but it's coming.
They barely had the sight, and Jacob was already thinking about playing this exit kill. So this is... Oh, it's some really intelligent play, but unfortunately, if you don't hit your shot, you will get punished. Zello hits the flick, down to 12 HP, but he gets his kill, and at this point, you can hunt him, but the economy's not too amazing for you guys either, and Zello could hide just about anywhere, so I'm not sure Apeks will want to.
No, I mean, they've lost a few players here. They'll want to ensure that they, again, still actually have money left after their reinvestment. And even with the 1-up being saved forward for Sprout, at most it allows Zello to drop one more rifle over. And that could actually work in their favour. It could tempt Sprout into a force buy that could spiral things even further out of control. We'll see if they fall for it. Oh.
Are you getting that too?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just me. It must be on the vMix or something. Hopefully that's not going to the stream.
Fingers crossed. So rough half buy for Sprout.
Yeah.
I mean, they saved the AWP, right? So you're really hoping that Zello goes absolutely rogue into this one. Gets a little bit of magic out, but it's 3 Deagles and an MP9 in support. And Zello has taken the AWP down mid, and he has found an opening. Kixan caught off guard. The rest of the team are barreling into this A site, and they should take it for free here. Nobody really home to defend, and now it's a matter of timings. That AWP charging in, caught by JL on timing alone. At this point, smoke off that AWP if you're Apeks, lock it down, don't let the pistols get too much on exit, and that seems to be exactly the call. Siphon, at the very least, has picked himself up an AK-47. Jacob clearing his corners, and CT will get a freebie onto Lauan-X, and indeed he does. And at this point, oh, a missed shot from Berserk does make it a little more interesting, as Zyphon finds a headshot, but JL and Jacob very quickly there to steady the ship. JL on his second AWP, probably won't want to hold on to that for too long, swaps it away, but it's 8 and a guaranteed lead at the half for Apeks. This T side is clicking much more so than what we saw on Overpass.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real T side, it didn't seem, from them back on Overpass, which was surprising. Again, I think it was maybe down to the fact that Apeks probably weren't expecting an Overpass pick to come out from Sprout, so it might have caught them off guard. They probably hadn't really prepped it as much coming into today's games, and focus it particularly on their scrims. But Ancient here is one that I think they were expecting to come through again after the last day, and well, they're making good work of it on this T side. Jacob with at least one before he goes down in on mid, keeping the CT side on their feet, and given the 4-on-4 now for Apeks to try and work with. Doubled up in towards Donut right now. This is an interesting setup for Sprout. I think expecting this mid focus, but it wasn't really the case. Sticko hadn't even pushed forward. He's just making sure they don't get pushed through on A or on mid.
Timing could be there for them though. Sticko is starting to think about going for a wander. And as they push down mid, he won't be holding for it, so they could potentially catch him off guard here. They have slowed this one right down indeed. Right as Sticko swings, multiple bodies there. Lauan-X tagged up, but not enough. And as they look to retreat, the AWP is posted on the angle. If JL had gone even an inch further, he would have been in a lot of trouble there. Instead, he takes the fight and beats out Stair. Huge kill to find. Panicked rotations now starting to swarm in for this CT side to try and make it an even 3-on-3. JL, a bullet from death, will have to wait. The smoke will keep him busy, but Berserk has got his man backed up. A quick kill needs more than that, and he can't find his shot. It's JL, low HP against the world in a 1v1. Zello with all the health he could possibly need. Smoke to his name as well. No bomb plant yet. 25 seconds. Zello relocates, and that's all JL needs. He thought he was down the ramp. He thought he'd rethought the plan and left his way out of Jaguar, but JL swings it. And on low HP, a 1v2 clutch he should never have been winning. Gives Apeks a 9th. Breaks the economy of Sprout all over again. And this one, well, it's going from bad to worse for Sprout, if we're being honest.
I did not expect Ancient to be such a one-sided affair. Again, the full investment coming in from Sprout means they're all in. This is not a very good buy for them. they do desperately need round wins, so I can understand it. But yeah, they had no one ready on A at all. They had focused heavy on mid because that's where presence has been shown early on most of the time. They swapped it up, and well, with an opening kill already and the bomb going down, does Sprout really have any choice other than to call for a save? They don't even have a kit to work with.
That smoke alone should do enough. Hopefully try and maybe hunt down this rifle of Jacob, who's got yet more damage on the exit. But the save is called. It's a 10th round, double digits, T-side of Ancient for Apeks, and oh, Jacob, that's just not very nice. Through the smoke, deals with Stare. They want more than this. They know there's damaged players. They know how desperate Sprout are to hold on to these rifles, having forced into this. I don't think even Apeks thought that was a force. They call that fast A play normally against the Ecos. I think they thought that was pistols. They got away with it. And as the remaining rifles try, they won't be able to take away more than that. An MP9 and a FAMAS across to try and bolster up this buy. Will be rifles. Will be something. They need a miracle round here. They need somebody to step up and be counted. They've had a really rough showing so far. The pause is called to try and work out how they can maybe scrape a 5-round half out.
Sorry, I felt a sneeze coming on, but it never came. Back in hay fever. JL has a weapon on the ground he's going to be recovering. Is that a FAMAS there on the ground as well, for in front of Sprout?
I think it is. They saved an MP9 and a FAMAS.
Yeah. Is X going to go ahead and upgrade? Not too sure.
Yeah, maybe they just had the money to upgrade. You would have thought maybe Azza would have taken it and picked up more utility, but yeah. Each to their own, I suppose. As everyone knows, the FAMAS is garbage and deserves to be in the trash, so it's understandable that they'd want to just get rid of it.
Yeah, X plays around Cave, I believe, usually as well. Actually, he's playing a little bit further back in B, which would be a very interesting choice on the MP9. But either way, let's see how this plays out, because Sprout desperately need these final 2 rounds in the half if they want any chance of turning things around.
It's not a patient approach to this one.
Expecting maybe the change in pace from Sprout.
Yeah. Seeing them pull out that fast A play, I think a few times too many now, so looking to adjust. Heavy lean actually over towards this A site. Majority of the presence, in fact, over there. They are starting to correct that now with a rotate of at least Stare back towards B. But it will be mid-control fort with a minute on the clock. Where do you want to take this? You've got the lean to suggest this will be an A-site split. Couple of men in towards main. Couple now looking to push the issue into red. And Azza to be put under pressure by Kixan on the read, and he's got it. Goes down low, but he gets his kill, and now that A-site split is incredibly viable. 2 prongs to this offensive. Nobody able to rotate to support. X mollied. Will get caught by it. They know where he is now. That MP9 trying to play behind the boxes, trying to give himself an angle, gets one. He's bought time for his friend in Donut as well. Low on HP, Kixan goes down, and as much as Jacob has traded one, they need more than that. They need their ult to come up big, and Zello has got him as well. JL, low HP on the spam through. This is looking better, but JL has dealt with that spam and has bought himself the space to at least get that bomb down. And low HP, he's looking for another, and he gets it. It's all on Zello. 1v2. Nails the first, but low HP as Jacob plays around the headshot boxes and buys an 11th round for Apeks. Zello wanted to be the hero, but it just wasn't to be. Apeks continue their dominance on the T side of Ancient.
Well, damn. Honestly, after he hit that first no-scope in there on the 1-on-2, I was half expecting them to just straight up no-scope the second player at range as well. Unfortunately, the quick scope wasn't quite on for him, and another close round that just doesn't go the way of Sprout. There's been a decent few of those that could have maybe turned this half into something salvageable. Instead, it is just completely out of control, although finally there is a round where an uncontested opening kill goes the way of Sprout. I genuinely cannot remember the last time that happened. Even then later on when they normally start getting a few kills, it's always instant trades that come back. This time they avoid that fate.
JL looking for a little bit of magic on a fading smoke. He's been pretty electric so far. Zyphon, meanwhile, does take a second kill. And this is a crossfire that shouldn't be breakable, but he finds one still before he goes down on the trade. Problem is he's lost a few too many teammates at this point. 2 on 4. Berserk is hoping for a miracle, walking this with the deagle. He gets his miracle. Clean shot, finds Zyphon, clears out an angle. Buys just a little bit of time for himself. It's going to have to be him. All or nothing for the youngster in a 1v3. Rotating into CT, lines up one, wants to get this bomb down, but he's being pushed hard. They're not going to let him breathe, these CT players. They're going to try and force the fights, and well, Berserk doesn't quite know where to look just yet. Now he's seen it, but they're swinging together as 2. He gets 1, but it's not quite enough. 11-4 as we head to the half. A dominant lead for Apeks, but we've seen them lose them before.
Hey Future Pros! I thought I'd take time out of my busy schedule to show you all a nice way to aid your teammates when rushing A on Vertigo. We will be smoking off A short along with a supporting flash. To throw these nades, head into the corner of the metal overhang. Aim towards the bottom of the thickest beam and simply jump throw the smoke. This will block off A short and hopefully stop a CT player peeking. However, it is possible for a CT to push through, but a well-placed molly will solve that problem. Now time for the flash. After you've thrown your smoke, back up and back up so you're at the edge of the metal overhang. Then simply aim at the bottom corner of the sky and throw. This should hold off or at least annoy any CT player trying to get an aggressive peek. That's it. I hope your A rushes are met with an epic victory round win. Hey Future Pros! I saw Big doing a nifty little boost on Nuke during the European Minor Open qualifiers, so I thought I'd quickly show you all how to recreate it. To do this boost, you'll need 2 Future Pros and 1 AWP. Future Pro number 1, you'll be acting as the stool. It's important work and your contribution is appreciated. Run over and hop onto the far left railing and crouch down. When Future Pro 2 is on your head, stand when they jump and then just chill out. Future Pro number 2, you will get to have all the fun. Follow Future Pro 1 and get onto their head using the close railing. Jump again to allow your stool to stand. Now aim towards this gap and line yourself up so this railing lines up with the edge of the direct close wall. Position your scope so you're aiming just below the painted blue section. Then fire your AWP when the timer is just about to change from 148 to 147. Here you can see the exact moment when CSN made his shot. And that's it. With a bit of luck and a willing teammate, I'm sure you can hit this shot at least 1 in every 100 rounds. Good luck. Hey Future Pros! Locking down mid as a CT can put you in a good spot in a round of Ancient. So let's check out the smoke incendiary combo that the Chad Sponge Birchall likes to throw. Get into the middle of the doorway just before the stairs. Aim to the vines at the extended leafy bit and throw your smoke. Then quickly position your crosshair at the tip of this leaf and walk forward and throw the incendiary instantly. These nades will surely make the T's mad and make them hopefully respect the util. If you want to change it up, you can also throw your incendiary at the same smoke lineup for a deep coverage of the elbow area. Good luck holding mid and make sure to throw your nades fast. Hey Future Pros!
11-4 as we head to the halftime. A pistol that feels almost must win now for the T side of Sprout if they are to maintain hopes of taking this one. Is that an USP with the silencer unscrewed that I see in the hands of Kixon?
Could be the GoTV bug, it happens sometimes, but most likely.
Fast push through cave coming through. 3 players taking heavy presence. The flashbang's good, but not good enough. Kixon does look like he's taken the unsilenced option, and it's not working out for his teammates, not working out for him either. 3 quick kills. This one's a goner. Sprout start their T side with a bang, exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it definitely was the unsilenced USP.
Okay.
As they have a shot at getting a few kills off the back of it, and there we go. Even dinks up Sticko. Not bad at all. Confirming the round win anyway for Sprout and giving them a big old lifeline now to try and start building something on this T side. It's going to be a long road, but it's certainly doable. I'm not going to count them out by any means. Sticko hoping maybe for another exit at best at this point if LioNX does come in, and he's also being wrapped in on from behind, so staying alive might be pretty difficult here. The smoke and Kevlar would have been very useful as well, but it's not allowed to be carried through. 11-5. I mean, did they force up here? Did they take the eco and then go into the buy round as early as possible, but it won't have all the utility, they won't have ops most likely. It's a tough decision, to be honest.
Big questions to be asked. Sprout take the time out to try and work out what Apeks are going to be doing, as Apeks, I suspect, try and work it out themselves. Looks like they do want to at least... Yeah, Force comes in. Scout in the hands of Berserk. He's had a good series so far. Jacob gets a deagle. He's been good too. Plenty of potential. I would have argued you put Berserk on a deagle after his T-side round, but there we are.
If he's doing that with a deagle, though, maybe you want him on the better weapon. Well, Scout not necessarily better, but
I was about to say,
more suitable to his playstyle as an operator, might.
It's a fairly heavy buy coming out from Sprout as well, I think, suspecting that there will be a force. They've got a couple of Mac-10s in the mix, but 3 Galils, in fact. To try and make sure it doesn't get too sketchy. FAMAS in the hands of Jacob, the only rifle that this CT side can afford, and interestingly, they've put it up the tree on A. Holding main. Looks like it will be tested at the very least, as an A-main split feels very doable here. An early tag from Berserk Scout, a Molotov to flush him out of that angle as the utility comes over the top. And there's a heavy stack here for the CT side. They've got bodies inside of this site. They've got presence here to try and do some damage. The question is how much, and Azza is having none. JL dinked up inside of that smoke, the bomb to be planted, and as much as they had the setup, it has been dismantled by Sprout. Gotta wonder if putting that FAMAS, your best weapon of the bunch, up a main was really the call to make, as the rest of the team will look to save, but Stare will surely hunt.
Yeah, I mean, on the Mac-10 you may as well at this point. See if there's another kill or two to go. Spots them crossing back towards the spawn anyway. Are they going to go on the full hunt? Scout is here, so it could cost them a little bit. No, see,
They've got them pinned.
kind of just keeping.
I wouldn't see the harm in throwing the Mac-10s at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Azar could have traded that Mac-10 over to someone who was a bit healthier, even so that the two of them could have went in. But no, they decided against it in the end. We're maybe just waiting to see if Apeks ended up peeking them anywhere again. Keeping all 5 alive themselves, even if it is a couple weaker weapons, is not a bad result, especially when you're trying to build a base to work off of here on the T side, while being down still pretty drastically at this point, even with a good start to the half. Will be an eco for now though, so a 7th round shouldn't be too hard for Sprout to find, and at that point then, if they get that opening gun round, things really do come to life.
Question is, what do you call its aggression from Sticko? On the P250. Aggression from Kicksam on the 5.7, and both of them have been dismantled in as many seconds as it took me to say it. Already a couple of picks found, and this one looking like it will pass Apeks by a 7th. Surely on the cards for Sprout, and the gap down to just 4. That buffer that Apeks had built up across their own T side is slowly but surely being eroded. Rifles to come out in the next may make for at least a slightly more interesting affair. But the question is, what have Apeks got in the pocket? What plan have they got? Because everything they've tried on the pistol and on the subsequent Force and half have not landed. Brave from Berserk.
Zyphon's kill came in just to see shot. For a second when I saw something pop up in the kill feed, I was like, did that land? No real damage going to be connected here, considering LioNX has a 4 health player to contend with, so yeah, wasn't going to be much trouble at all. Quick flank in through the sniper's nest, the 7th round as we expected for Sprout. And, well, they really didn't have too much trouble throughout those rounds, so they have actually built up a really solid economy. So Apeks, if they want to come alive and just try and run towards the finish line, it's going to be at least 2 full gun rounds before they actually break down Sprout. So they have that room to work with at the very least. Retaining a few of the weaker weapons, though, does mean Apeks have the firepower advantage at the very least coming into this open gun round.
Something to work with. Heavy-handed mid-control to be called here by the CT side. They want to pile the pressure on. They want to take lane. Kicksan's looking for it. They're aware, Sprout, that they've lost it, but they can't do anything about Kicksan tapping away. Finds the early pick. Oh, that one X through the smoke does manage to do something about it. A lucky response, but they'll take it. 4 on 4 allows them to reset, forces the CTs to be a little more spread across the board, and at this point, a straight B-site execute would give them a 2 on 4 if that's the way they wanted to take it.
Very passive outside B on this.
They're trying to pull a rotation.
Yeah, I was going to say I might have actually sold the rotation out of Apeks because JL didn't spot anyone else, so they have indeed decided to stack things up a bit towards A. And even then, I was going to say the sole B defender that's now completely leaving was all the way back towards the spawn side of things, so a smoke could block that angle off and is likely to do so, but for now just creeping forward, hoping to play off of the contact. JL,
No util either.
not quite able to get it done. I think he was like weirdly underground there or something from my point of view. Either way, the B-bomb site overrun and it's forced to save out of the remaining 3 players. Apeks have decided they don't want anything to do with this. Even with all 3 guns being saved, though, it's going to be tough to actually salvage together to buy. I think Sticko should be able to drop, but at least one player is going to have to likely be left onto a weaker weapon, maybe a FAMAS or something, so... Or do they have the full loss bonus? No, sorry, they do, so they should be okay in that regard, my bad. But the rounds are slowly closing in, and considering it was such an incredible start to this game, such an incredible first half, you've got to be worried that things are slipping away from them right now. Pretty convincingly as well.
This is going to be the fear. Like you said, they have been very convincing. The rounds they've lost have not been close. It's been clean from Sprout, and that'll be concerning Apeks greatly now. 3-man save. Still not great. They'll just about manage to scramble the buy together. There will be utility sacrifices. And there will be questions asked. What is the response from Apeks? What do you look to do as a CT side to change the picture? Because now Sprout have got economy to back them up. They've got firepower across the board. Good utility to work with as well. How do you look to change this picture? A double molly down the lane. HE's to follow. They want to take the fight to them. Jacob's taking a ton of molly damage before he's even got there, and as a result, he takes Lown X down low, but the wallbang does more to him than it does to his opposition. JL trying to scramble this, trying to change the script, has managed to respond with at least one. Berserk looking for more aggression, but it's Stare dealing with his teammate, and now Berserk is hung out to dry. Bottom of mid, he's got no support. He needs a lightning fast shot, and it's not going to happen. Falling apart at the seams at this point. There's damage, sure, across the board, but it's a 2-on-4 for Kicksan and Stiko. The CT side's just not clicking again. Apeks seemingly lost in the chaos, and you can see Sprout playing the exact same call. Just slow everything down. The health's low, but we've got a 2-man advantage. We can play this how we need. Look to group up again, trade it cleanly. The round's ours.
Fortunate that this flank that's been initiated now is just going to be so late. I don't think it's really going to have a chance to do anything unless Kicksan can steal away 1 or 2 of these kills as they're moving forward, which with the damage is certainly possible. Spots the cross of 2 to the bomb site, heavily commits to the fight and takes out the healthy player. That's Zello gone. Now it gets scary, but they are watching for this flank, and that's the op actually currently posted up, waiting for Sticko, and it shuts them down. They knew something fishy was going on.
Exactly the kill they needed. Orp on a low HP player, able to take its mark cleanly enough, and Zyphon is there for the backstab. The gap, just 2 rounds. 34 HP between the 3 remaining players, but they get the job done. The money again in a halfway house for Apeks. Not quite a full buy, not quite a half. They'll try and make it work anyway. Berserk and Steeko will be the men taking sacrifices as a result. In fact, it's more than that. They're going to half buy it up. Deagle 5-7. Berserk on a CZ to try and get something going, but it's the full rifle complement for Sprout. They are well set. And if they get through this one, there's just one round in it.
Crazy that again it looks like we're going to have a game run back up after an initial massive lead for one of the teams. Couple M4s at least still here for something to be done by Apeks, and they're taking the gamble with the A stack at the moment, but I'm not too sure how much that's going to pay off for them. We need to see them in this next gun round try something different. We haven't seen them try and maybe take that deeper B control, maybe even down the ramp together.
Yeah, they've done things in isolation, but never consistently. And that's going to be a problem. B-site hit looking to come through. Hickson wants to boost Jacob to try and give him an angle over top of the smokes. And he has got one, gets a freebie. As the next crossing, we'll get that bomb down, and there's decisions to be made, but Stick dealt with the flank, and that may well make their mind up for them here. As are stuck mid-site. They haven't got the util to clear him out. They're going to have to do it with manpower alone. There's a man on the ramp as well. It's a good setup. At least it's good if there's not utility, which there is. And Kixan sent in sacrificial on the pistols. The trade's just about found. Man advantage, make it 2 as Zello is left. 1v3. They've got to get on that bomb, and they've got to do it now. And oh, JL legged, but it's not going to be enough. The defuse will be stuck. Apeks find their miracle round. 12 on the board, 3 players alive. It's not going to get any easier, but it's something.
Yeah, thankfully doing it with kind of the bare minimum they needed to keep standing as well. If it ended up being a close round, you would have trouble then, because Sprout built up a really good economy throughout that stretch of rounds that they took for themselves. Obviously are able to easily buy here with quite a bit left over for more investments if necessary, including more op buys even. So Apeks need to chain a bit together here. If they can take 1 or 2 more, at that point Sprout really do begin to worry, because even after such an incredible comeback with a stretch of what, 5 rounds rather in a row, they still don't have a lot of wiggle room if they are to actually start losing a couple of them. Wallbang damage, I believe, on the Kixan.
Yeah. That is
all the way back towards
disgusting.
spawn. Ouch.
He was mid-sight when he took it, but down to 36.
Either way,
Huge amount of damage.
will be helpful when they start moving in for sure. Not going to be something he's necessarily aware of at the moment, though.
Fake the execute in towards B to start things off. Try and bleed that CT utility dry. JL trying to find a little bit of wallbang magic himself. They're pre-firing into the cave, but JL does one better. Opening pick found, and that's a big opening for Apeks. Man advantage, admittedly at the cost of mid-control, but they've got support here to try and take this as well. Zyphon looking to molly Steeko out of position, looking to force that fight, but the counter utility again is solid. Steeko will stand his ground for now. 2-man setup to try and force his hand. A second Molotov will push him into the smoke. They really want this pick. Want to find this donut player. They are throwing the kitchen sink at him in an attempt to flush him out, but Steeko is up for the challenge. Zyphon goes down, so does Zaza. This round is demolished. Zello on the AWP, it's a consolation kill. Kixon goes down, but they know exactly where their man is, and with 20 seconds left, they are going to hunt. They are going to try and find as much as they possibly can, make this as difficult as possible to save. They've not got a ton of money, though, so they do need to be careful. 2 gone. Smoke to give Zello a hiding spot. 5 seconds. He doesn't want to go down after time. That would be the ultimate. And they are going to chase him here. They're going to chase him all the way to the death. He's inside the smoke. He's tagged. He's down. And that is the kill. The money is not awful. He still will be able to buy, but they are slowly but surely stripping it back here, Apeks. And Sprout, well, rightfully take the timeout.
Yeah, that's going to help quite a bit. It ensures that they only have that 1 investment remaining. If Zello managed to stay alive, keep his op over, he would have had little reinvestment necessary, would have had enough for another buy. You'd have Lau and X and Xiphon, who probably would have been sitting around that kind of area of having another investment in the reserve as well. So just taking that away really does impact Sprout in the long run here, potentially, especially if they lose this round. They will be maybe even ecoing to try and play for an overtime. So it's good to see. Apeks, they seem to have rejoined the server after gone missing for a while. So here we go. A bit of a pause even was taken by Sprout.
Opportunity just to reset. They know they've still got a chance here, right? Their economy hasn't broken yet. Admittedly, only 3 rounds away from losing the series and being sent home from these qualifiers, but there's still opportunity to get back into this one, break that Apeks economy again. Oh, Xiphon, though, taking a ton of damage. JL's not been afraid. Wallbang connects for him again. And actually forces Apeks to push up a little bit, forces Sprout back out of this lane control. They'll flash themselves back into it. Relatively passive setup across the board from Apeks to start this one off, and they don't look like they want to budge just yet.
No, sticking with this 3-man stack on towards B. To be fair, Sprout have heavily been leaning in this direction with every single default, really.
Oh, Berserk could be in trouble there.
Oh, I thought he was
Xiphon,
about to get the
electric
one.
shot. I think Sticko stuck him out to dry a little bit there. They know Sticko played there last round. They look to hunt that pick. They've done it time and again, and this time it lands. Berserk goes down, and the CT side under pressure. One player in main, and that's Sticko. JL and Jacob actually nestled in the site itself. Not a position you normally see players playing out on B, but it's out of necessity. They know they've got to change the picture, and JL does just that. Big pick. Xiphon trades it immediately, and now the B site is utterly under siege. There is no timing for rotations. The A main player has pushed all the way out. Sticko's going to have to go back, but he's got to be quiet. Can't give away the sound cues. They want to rush in. They want to support, but they've got to clear Xiphon. Still low on HP. He's got so much done. Finally, he goes down, and that starts to make this interesting. There's flanks on flanks here. X is working his way on the backstab as Jacob and JL look to take the site itself. The bomb has gone down inside of a smoke, and that's going to buy more time. JL's gun barrel visible. Free kill. Now they know there's a man behind. Zello's tagged low, but it's not the kill that he desperately needed. X finds another, make it a triple, and Sprout have their double digits. They are not going to go down without a fight, and they've brought themselves right back into the equation with that one.
All right, yeah. I mean, the economy's still there for Apeks to buy back, so again, both teams can keep on fighting, but the CT economy breaks down quite a bit quicker than it does on the T side, so when Apeks realizing that, a pause is immediately called. We've got the shaky equipment value and such, so that usually means technical pause, unfortunately. We might have a slightly longer pause here. Which, I don't know, good or bad thing at this point. For the teams,
that would just be our luck,
bad
wouldn't
for us
it?
no matter what. But, Apeks maybe could do with a slight breather with knowing how crucial this round is. On the other hand, it gives Sprout more time to plan exactly what they're going to do into this round and maybe think about what exactly Apeks have been doing on their CT side and how they can counter it. So, really kind of a double-edged sword in this case.
Bottom
Kicks
of the
in
ninth.
mass, Eta.
Bottom of the ninth, and we take a tech. Online CS in a nutshell, Dean. It's been a good game. It has. Apparently, it should be approximately a 2-minute technical pause, is what our wonderful production team are relaying to us. So fingers crossed we're not stuck in it for too long.
Is that Valve time? Or
Oh, it better not be Valve time. If it's Valve time, we'll be here tomorrow morning. I got work.
Is Sticko maybe having an issue? He hasn't bought yet, so I'd presume so.
That looks about right. Yeah, it's.
Damn it, Sticko.
He's probably just getting tilted at this point. This is so similar to that overpass game. Apeks were in the driving seat. They were there. They were getting it over the line, and then just slowly the wheels just seem to unscrew themselves, and it just goes and nosedives into the mud. It's really tough to watch. Must be even tougher to play in.
I know it's not the right spelling, but it's kind of a suitable name as they peak and then just completely fall off each map. Hopefully
They do. It is just peaks and troughs, and I mean, it's tough for us to watch. You know, you've got this Apeks roster who've just put an 11-round T side together, and you look at them and you go, "Oh, that's done, right? 11-round T side. That's over. This is ancient." And then just little things go wrong time and again. They seem to just take their foot off the gas, and Sprout are more than willing to occupy that space. Well, as we get back into it, I was about to say, we asked for a change up.
Sticko
and this
as well.
is it. The big green panic button has been slammed. Sticko will take secondary duties. He will take secondary duties as a solo anchor over on A. And that is a big, big risk. If they run him down with multiple bodies, there will only be so much that AWP can do. For now, he remains untested. Looks to roam his AWP in towards Donut. Play the same sort of area that Berserk was in the previous. But that does leave the A site for now undefended. And with 3 players creeping into main, that looks exactly like it's where Sprout want to hit.
Yeah, very likely, but they do still have that early B presence, just making sure that they're not going to be getting aggressed on, that there's not any big changes from Apeks on this CT side after a bit of a pause coming in. Really, the hope is, though, that someone's going to get tempted by the lack of sound around main and just the generally quiet round and take a bit of a peek, and that's exactly what happens. Sticko goes wide on the angle, and as you said, the boost comes in over. Completely unaware he was scoped in on the angle, so he misses out on that one, and a man advantage towards Sprout. Jacob tries to force the issue through the molly. I'm not too sure that was a great idea, to be honest, and that seems to have just already forced the hand of Apeks into a save.
Yeah, that one was not the call. I'm going to be honest with you. That I could see the idea, the execution was just all over the shop, though. Save called, and this will be hunted. There's money to try and take away these remaining rifles. JL tagged down low now. In a lot of trouble. They've got bodies to come and clear this out. It's going to bring Berserk into this fight as well. JL goes down for free. Berserk now under even more pressure, trying to hold on to that AWP. Hopes for a timing, does land his shot, but he's now being hunted out, and he hasn't got any support at all as they start to pincer in from multiple angles. Berserk is just caught between a rock and a hard place here. I think Kixon's trying to clear him an exit path, but it's not going to work. Xiphon takes away the AWP, and now Kixon, he's only got a FAMAS. Should at least be able to upgrade to an AK, which he indeed does, but he's traded almost immediately thereafter. 2 rounds in it, everything stripped away from Apeks once again. Sprout back to fighting ways on the T side.
Yeah, just come to life again, and it's scary for me because Apeks already had that large stretch of rounds that they were kind of stumbling for here on the CT side, and now that the economy has been broken down again, could be deja vu potentially. They'll have a pretty good buy in this next round at least, and we'll do have some pistols here to try and at least make this an expensive round. There we go. I thought he was in trouble having been forced forward by the molly, but he wins out the fight against Stair without even taking a single point of damage. How the hell did he make that happen so cleanly? Do not go for the AK. Bold point.
Oh no. That smoke did not go deep enough for that play, JL, and all that hard work undone in an instant. Man advantage lost. You can understand it, but the smoke was just not deep enough for it. I like this though. Aggression down the ramp. The AWP currently the only man holding it. Potentially look to isolate that fight. Xiphon dinked and dealt with. Jacob gets another. They're making it expensive if nothing else. Making it competitive as well. Jacob 2 on the MP9. Potentially starts to flood this T side into an alternative pattern of play that could force them right into the deagle of Sticko here. Tucked into Donut. Timing would be everything. Jacob, big kill to miss, and he's missed it. Needed that kill. Sticko now needs a clean 1D and needs the timing, but he just backs away right when they needed him to push, right when they needed to press the issue. Looks for it on the second charge, but now they know where to look. Now they know what's going on. They'll back away from the situation. Hold the rifles as well, will Azza, to make absolutely sure that Sticko shouldn't get anything out of this one, and the gap is just one round in.
Out of nowhere as well. I mean, if Apeks let this slip, they're going to be kicking themselves. It was Mirage they let slip the last day after a 10-5 T-half, and they could be doing something very similar here now. As we get another pause. This time it is just a tactical, and it's actually from Sprout. Kind of surprisingly. I guess they know the buy is still going to be in play here, of course, for Apeks.
Yeah, I think that's where this comes from.
Well. They could go second op again, maybe even on JL this time. He does use the op a decent amount.
I'm not sure that's the call, though. I don't think Apeks are either. They're not quite sure what they want to do here. They found isolated pockets of success, but in a deep chasm of failure, and they're not quite sure where the next pocket will come from, how they'll get it over the line. Sticko buys only the second kit they can afford when they want these kind of buys to come out. What's the call? Because at the moment, Sprout are just dismantling them piece by piece, sure, but it's not quick, it's not pretty, but it's working every time. The same bits of rubble are laying strewn across the floor, and Apeks are left with their head in their hands, wondering how that round got away. Clearing out main again. Sprout diligent in their opening control.
Gotta be sweating right now if you're Apeks. Everyone afraid to make the first move as well as seems, and when they have have these confidence issues, that's when you really see them start to struggle. Early A main presence being abandoned to focus a little bit more on towards mid, I believe. Smoke down in towards Sniper's Nest, blocking off 2 players for the moment, so they should be able to at least cover some ground. There is heavy presence in general around this area.
Sticko going to be put under pressure again. They know he plays here. Looking to take that fight. Sticko tagged up. Now Zyphon looking to play a fading smoke. Will go down. They need to get the second. Azza still alive and kicking. Finds the trade. Needed to go down and doesn't. Berserk caught on a wild fling of that AWP as suddenly they look to up the pace on Sprout. 30 seconds left. They know they've got limited time on the clock, but that smoke stalls it out. Doesn't commit the rotation, though. They've still not got support. JL goes down through the smoke, and Berserk, once more, the youngster is put in an impossible situation. Surely, bodies everywhere. He doesn't know which to pick. And with Sticko tagged up, Jacob only finding tag damage through the smoke. This should be leveling the playing field, and indeed it is. Sticko wants nothing to do with it. 13 all. 4 players kept alive for Sprout. Apeks just do not have the answers.
Yeah, I really don't know what they can do different at this point. They're just being steamrolled. LNX thought he might have had that 40 kill coming his way with how snappy the aim's been, but even with Sticko getting that kill, it confirms where he is. If they want, they might be able to throw these 2 players who are nearby at it. Potentially still take the weapon away. Azer's low himself though, so yeah, Sticko has an easy enough time shutting him down. 13-13, we're tied up after Apeks had a ridiculous lead. 10-5 at the halftime, I believe, before it got closed in a little bit, then got a stretch of a few rounds again, and it's just been completely quiet since. The economy isn't quite there either.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news. It was 11-4.
11-4, so even worse. My bad. It has been a very long day.
Oh, Apeks, Apeks, Apeks. This is a half buy again. No, they can't. They can't commit to it. They're not winning with full rifles. You can't try and chance your arm with a force where you're missing bits and pieces, can you? It's got to be pistols. It's got to be the half buy. You've got to play for map at the series point.
They've got loss bonus, so Jacob can just about afford that.
Eagles, 5.7s, an AK and an M4. An 11-4 lead has led to this 13 all. Sprout routine in their dismemberment of the CT defense. Apeks looking to pull every trick they can out of the book. A boost up, second Dorito, trying to get some kind of a peek. Nothing given up again. It's so leisurely in the opening moments from Sprout. Just slow, methodical. Almost bores Apeks to death before they strike the killing blows. This time there is aggression. Out of A main. The first time in a long time Sprout haven't sent the presence there to clear it, but Zyphon lightning fast on the reaction. Finds the head of Sticko. Surely doesn't expect a second here. Surely not, but he turns on a dime. Makes it look easy when it's oh so difficult. JL desperate to get something, a salvage. Some scraps out of this round, but Stare on a burst fire Glock says no thank you. Kixon, the only man to find purchase. Stare will be taken down on exit, but this is consolation kills if anything now. This is HLTV stat boosting. Zyphon gets the job done. 14 on the board. This is it for Apeks. Do or die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are they going to throw at them differently exactly now coming into this round? Is Berserk even on the up? Yeah. Yeah, has one to work, thankfully. What's the change? I mean, we've seen them try the aggression over towards B. We haven't really seen them do too much around mid, I don't believe, but it can be difficult really to aggress in that area. So maybe that's why they've been avoiding it this time around, though they are actually going to get forward. Jacob pushed all the way up in a decent position to try and actually limit the control around B as well, which has been something that they've struggled with. But it's a heavy presence on the A side of things this time around for Sprout.
They've called the perfect counter entirely accidentally. 4 players out towards A. Stare will be dealt with here. It's a mob squad to hit him and take him down, so the man advantage is found. Long time no C for Apeks. The rest of the squad are just going to wander it out A. They know they've only got one option left at this point. They've lost all other control. The utility goes out, tries to lock out these initial angles. Half a gap though for Berserk, and that could be all he needs on the AWP. Molly will force him back. Flash through for Jacob, gets one. Sticks around for more and doubles it. This is more like it, Apeks. 2 on 5. Zyphon and Zello to try and steady the sinking ship, but this one has surely passed them by. Missed shots from both AWPers. But the damage is done. 40 seconds. Just flashbangs remaining. No smokes to lock these angles away. A bomb lost in the middle of A site. A fast flank coming in from Kixon. This should be inevitable. Should be nothing more this T-side can do to change the picture. Bomb still yet to be recovered. 20 seconds left. Zyphon doing what he can, trying to sow the seeds of doubt in the CT's minds, but he's caught. Bomb in hand, and JL has none of it. Finally, a response from Apeks. The aggressive mid stance, the peek into the B lane, the control removed. And the old dragon has a little bit of life to breathe into its lungs yet. The old beast rises. Let's see if it can stand on its feet, or it'll fall face first in the mud once more.
Neck and neck. I mean, Apeks don't want to let it go, but they also don't seem to be able to find any rounds to keep them in the lead. So, see if they can extend it again, take the 15, then at least have an overtime confirmation. For some sort of security, yeah.
Exact same thing. It's the only thing that's worked for them.
It's kind of been expected this time, though, it seems, by Sprout. They were waiting on that push down the ramp again, and that's the only part of it that they don't throw in this time, thankfully, because it would have been punished. I like
good smoke. Half an angle to work with. Jacob gets the better of the Z player, and Kixon finds one more. This CT side is starting to lumber into some sort of movement. The stagnation for so long. He's left rust in the joints, but it's starting to work again. And Jacob, a little bit of fortune through the smoke. Leaves Azza and Zello. 14 all, and Apeks. Not the team you would have put your money on to get to map point first, but they're getting there. Sticko deals with Azza. And with 40 seconds left, Zello, no choice, nothing to do. Save that AWP if you can, my friend, but you are going to be hunted. Up on the box, there's the first. They're going to try and run this man down. Make sure everything is reinvested for the last round. The money is a little bit shoddy in places, so if they can take everything away, that'd be for the best. Zello doing all he can, gets 2. He should never have had a second, but it's 15. And as you look across that economy, there are gaps. Zello on 24, Lauanex 24.50 or 31.50. Invests only a Mac 10, 2 Galils, an AK. There are gaps in the defense for Sprout as Apeks use their 3rd tactical. And they have a good buy for the first time in a long time. Apeks are in the ascendancy, and could this be it? They've got 1 shot before we head to overtime and me and Dean officially die. They've got 1 last crack at the whip for Apeks to get this one over the line.
Hope my obituary will be nice.
He died doing what he loved. Watching CS teams play very scrappy ancient games.
He died when overtime started. Perhaps. I'm feeling it. Even with the slight weakness to the bye, it just... I mean, what was it? It was 2 rounds in a row the last time Apeks kind of came alive,
Yeah.
so if they stick to the trend, then it should be Sprout's turn to go ahead and get a little bit of action of their own. So let's see.
They've not pulled the mid play.
Yeah, not the same aggression this time around. They just put the molly to stop anyone from Sprout from trying to charge out in the early stages instead. And have gone with a pretty heavy B stack.
Berserk's got 1.
Okay.
A pick out of nothing. Plays donut with the AWP. Catches a freebie in transition. This feels like the same setup we've seen time and again from this T side. 1 player, or in this case it was meant to be 2, but they lost 1 in the process, works his way up. That cuts the rotations, then they start to strip the site back. Stare, clean headshot. Jacob playing with fire here. Zyphon has worked his way in, and Jacob has no idea. There's an isolated man now. Kicks and solo inside of the site, doing all he can. It's a brave effort. 1.5, but it's not going to be enough. For Berserk and Sticko, how do you even dream of getting back into this? A Molotov just to make it worse. 2 on 3, that bomb slowly but surely ticking away. They've got utility at the very least to try and make their way into the site itself. Counter flash is good. Bomb 1/4 of the way gone before they even get here. Smoke 3 flashes, all that remains. Smoke will go down towards the ramp, but it's a 2K, 1 site play. This is disgusting. Sprout are not letting them breathe. It's done. It's over. The damage is just simply too much. Berserk does what he can, but it's OT. These 2 lineups, they will need to go again. It is not enough, the regulation. Sprout slowly but surely dismember Apex's defense again. They don't call the aggression Apeks. They don't call the proactivity, and that is their undoing. It's the only thing that's working for them. And they don't call it. Sprout, brutally efficient. Taking every inch that's given to them, and not an inch more.
I mean, at the very least now, the economy isn't going to be a worry for Apeks, but there's plenty of times where it wasn't the debris during the regulation there, and they still weren't able to make it work, so we'll see. JL, did he do damage? Pretty decent damage.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little
bit
bit more, maybe. Down to 63 though, it's always helpful when you have these M4s in play. Lauanex has crept incredibly far forward and actually catches a man with his knife out. It was a very shaky spray, and for a second I thought Jacob might have had the chance to get the drop on him instead. But it is JL who has to return the trade. With the damage though, as we said, done onto Azur, it's not a terrible 4-on-4 for Apeks to be in. Especially with this flank.
Last flank.
Oh no, JL.
Stare has dealt with 1 though, and that's going to make this a little awkward again. Azur looking to recover. The bomb gets caught by a Sticko double spray down. The timing couldn't have been better. Bomb in no man's land. Man advantage made 2. Zyphon, he was the flank. He was the snake in the grass, and now he's got to expose himself to try and get it all done. Spotted by Berserk. They know exactly what's up here with 45 seconds left on the clock. Zyphon will go surely for damage. 12.5k overtime, still very possible to break them. 30 seconds left. Sticko's having none of it. Second AWP recovered. First round goes the way of Apeks. A big CT round.
Big aren't here. What are you talking about?
Right, now is not the time, Dean. It's too late for this, bro.
16-15. I mean, we're forgetting the fact that, again, Sprout are on a 10 best-of-3 loss streak. That's got to be some kind of curse. And honestly, rubbing it in by losing the final map in an overtime would be something that happened to Sprout. So I could still see Apeks potentially picking this up. Kicksan going aggressive. He has support, but is it enough? It is indeed for the trade. Azar tries to follow up, but Jacob playing around a smoke of his own back towards the sniper's nest is going to snatch up the advantage again for Apeks. As things begin to look pretty dire right now for Sprout, I've got to say. Tries a wallbang and eats some instead.
It's the curse of the overtimes. It's always the way. You can't get a CT round to save your life. And then immediately upon overtime, you find yourself a first, a man advantage in the second. Looking good for Apeks. Managed to get the mechanic out and put the wheels back on that aforementioned vehicle.
What was the mechanic doing in the car? Why'd you have to get him out?
Because the wheels came off then.
Yeah, we should be outside the car putting them on. I'm just trying to mess with you at this point.
Melting out my ears, man. What are you doing to me? Sprout feeling the suffering as well. After all this comeback, they're getting picked apart at the seams. Lauanex to try and clutch. A 1v4, flashes himself through the smoke. It's a brave play, it's a false play. Second for Apeks, 2 rounds away from finishing the job. I don't think I've got anything more to say than that, Dean.
Fair enough at this point. I think most words in the dictionary have been said a few times over. Pulled out with thesaurus and everything. Krieg for Zello. Well, damn. I don't think he had the money for an op, maybe, whatever way this is going. I don't know, but yeah. Either way, Rocket and Krieg, we'll see how that plays out. So much nade damage, but somehow the initial kill still goes the way of Sprout, so that's a change up in things from the last 2 rounds anyway. Berserk, though, in trouble, caught up close on main. This is much, much better from Sprout right now. It looks like they might at least be able to salvage the 1 round and stop the best that they can do from being just fighting for an overtime. They need at least this one to keep the dream alive.
Yeah, they needed something. They needed something to go their way. This one should now be an inevitability. Asa gets another big kill. Lauanex captures JL in transition. Jacob, well, he starts to feel Lauanex's pain as a 1v5. Utility is everywhere. There's nothing you can do, my friend. It is inevitable. Succumb, and he will. 16-17 as we head into the halftime. Sprout, a consolation round at the death to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, I mean, keep my hopes up at this point that they can still maybe get this done. The T side, though, for Apeks is where they did excel. We've got to remember that now.
It was a long time ago, Dean.
Yeah, that's why I'm reminding myself, because I genuinely did forget nearly.
Double AWP called. Sprout are going for it. That's the Hail Mary play if I've ever seen it. I don't think I saw them pull it out in regulation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this might be a first time for them. Might have maybe pulled it out at one point on Mirage, but even then I don't think really bothered with it. JL eats a nade with his feet, if you eat like that. I don't personally, but... Oh! Nice shot by Lauanex. Berserk has been getting the better of the battles mostly, I was going to say, so yeah. Nice to see Lauanex coming through and giving him a little bit of a lesson, despite, as you said, not being a primary AWPer.
Not even an AWPer, bro. Domed him. Big man advantage to find as well for Sprout. If they want to get it done in OT1, they're going to have to be flawless, and that's exactly the kind of start they need. In and amongst the chaos, Jacob has quietly gone and got his 30 bomb. Azza on the shoulder. JL thought about the timing shot, backs away from it, and the question is, what do you want to do if you're Apeks? 50 seconds left, you've got no control anywhere else. It's got to be the B side, but what do you pull? 1 smoke, 3 mollies, 2 flashes to construct and execute. Smoke short, molly into the cubby, molly mid-sight misses its mark, and that starts to get ugly. JL does well to pick one. The smoke is awkward though, and Sticko grabs another. That molly now serves perfectly to deny control. Plant will go down. Sticko will be pushed through the edge of the smoke. Azza gets one back, and suddenly the scales feel like they start to swing again. Jacob's shadow gives Azza another free opening. And for Kixon and JL, they have to try and construct what surely is an impossible scenario. A slightly awkward smoke, but it will lock JL out. He wants an angle, he wants anything he can, but his teammates betrayed him. Nothing doing. JL through the smoke's got one. Azza is surely just got to stick this out, and Zello is there to back his man up. 17 all. Sprout back in the game.
So close on the spray down there to the lineup as well. Brought Azar down to like 30 health, and Zello himself was pretty low, so it is unfortunate. Honestly, wildly running forward and spraying there might have gotten him a kill onto the upper up close. But the only thing is that's completely the opposite of what you're meant to do. So he went for the jump around the corner, tried to show the nice movement and strafe around, but it was Zello's up he had to deal with. He's going to hit those flicks. 17-17, we're tied up. Both teams looking for these final 2 rounds. If they split them 50-50, then it's going to be another overtime.
They're faking the A play. Kixon and Sticko.
It's selling as well.
Sprout are picking up what they're putting down. Little boost up. Molly does a lot of work, and they know where Sticko is, but that fake just wasn't really capitalized on. Sticko's taken 95 damage to sell a fake and use half the util that nobody's pushed off the back of. Jacob, though, says enough's enough. I want to take advantage of this sick play that Sticko has called, so he rips the head off of one. Man advantage found despite the health gaps, and well, with the double AWP setup in play, those health gaps become less and less of an issue, and if they catch the timing here, Lauanex is currently the sole defender. Oh, but is he? The rotation, look at the call. Second joins in support. I thought a third would come, but they've opted to turtle instead. A 2-2 split. 40 seconds left on the clock. It will be an execute. It will be this B site. 1 smoke, 1 molly, 2 flashbangs to try and crack this one open once again. They got in last time, but they couldn't get out again. Will the picture look any different this time? Molotov towards the cave. Rotations starting to come through. Azza is thinking about cheating a third. Short smoke goes. Flash into long, trying to succumb Lauanex's vision with 18 seconds left. Jacob has dealt with Azza. Look at the smoke push from Stair. He knows he has to try and deny. Lauanex has got at least 1 in response, but it's the man advantage again. This time Lauanex almost lines up the collateral. He's losing teammates left, right and centre, and finally he goes down berserk. Next up on the chopping block, but he's found by Stair. 2 on 2. Stiko with barely 5 health to his name, and he's on his own. He's lost all support, nobody home. He's on an AWP, not his comfort weapon. Not a weapon he wants to be on. That bomb slowly but surely ticks away, and it will be 18. Sprout, a CT side that barely begun to click in regulation, is getting them there in overtime.
It looked so promising though, honestly, once they got in towards the bomb site. It just somehow manages to fall apart. Stair with some good work on the retake as well, up close in the smoke, winning out the fight against, I think it was Berserk, who was the only really healthy player that was left out of the 3 for Apeks as well. And Apeks are using now their final tactical pause. They actually had 1 left over. May as well use it now, or lose it. At best, they're fighting for a second overtime. And it has been a long day of games for them.
It certainly has. Taking their last pause to try and work this one out. Try and do the math. See a way through. Double AWP setup has been the key for Sprout. It's worked every time. It's been sketchy. It's been close, but it's worked. 1 more chance for Apeks. 1 more roll of the dice. What's the call? Mid-play. They want the presence. They want to take the fight straight to Sprout. Sprout want to take the fight to them, but Sticko is ready. Lauanex goes down first. Secondary AWPer, the man on a 30 bomb as well, who has been so critical to their success, gone in an instant. The aggression miscalled. Nearly a double spray down for Azza, but not quite enough damage. Kixon able to drag one back. They've read it. They think they know what's coming here. Stair wants to get ahead of the issue. Kixon, though, through the corner has dealt with 1. Zyphon needs a huge play. 2 on the spray down. Needs the AWPer, but he can't quite get it. Freebie for Stair. 1v1. The youngster Berserk, the stand-in for Nork, to do it all. To buy another chance at glory for Apeks, to keep their hopes alive again. Stare up against him. He knows exactly where to look now, Berserk. This should be regulation, but the first shot is baited. Missed. Flashbang to get back on the angle. Berserk wants to take this fight, but it's Stare on the high ground instead, and it's Sprout. 10 best of 3s without a victory. 10. And they get it done against Apeks. They knock Apeks out of the Melbourne closed qualifiers for Europe. They live to fight another day. A barnstormer of a game, scrappy to the very, very last, but it is Sprout who come out on top. It is Sprout who get that coveted victory and have to do it all again tomorrow, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, my head is melted, so I can't even imagine what the players are like right now.